Welcome to the Steve Reeve Podcast with the best moments from the past week and a few things that didn't make it to air. Powered by Coldwell Banker Ford McMurray. We love YMM. Monday.
Last week, just before the weekend, we were talking about this weird story, interesting story, about the head chef at a nudist resort, talking about how they just love to cook in the nude, and certain things are, maybe a little bit more dangerous than others. So I was asking, what do you think the ultimate dangerous you're naked kind of food is? A bacon, of course, I think is the top answer, the easiest answer. It's kind of like, the Bohemian Rhapsody, the Stairway to Heaven. You know what I mean? Pick a different one, just because everybody's going to pick that one. But some of the answers surprised me, particularly one from Valerie letting us know, kind of an adjacent answer, but one that got me literally laughing out loud this morning. Years ago, she says, I dated a guy, and his parents were nudists. It was interesting to say the least, but I'll never forget seeing his father cooking bacon in a cast iron frying pan on the wood stove naked, and then go out to his workshop and do woodworking and run saws, also while naked. Brave man, she says, brave man. Yeah, brave or stupid? I mean, there's a Venn diagram. There's some crossover there, absolutely. You gotta watch the wood chips. You gotta watch the spinning blades. You gotta watch the bandsaws, man. Reading about, for instance, a couple who are ponying up a lot of cash, offering $150,000 to reportedly have Simon Cowell judge their performance. It's going to be a no from me. Except for it's not their singing performance. It's not their entertainment, their performance, that really needs to be judged according to them. No, it's the specifically bedroom performance that they want Simon Cowell around for. Okay, all right, I'm reading between the lines here. They're obviously looking to fulfill some sort of, an inferiority kink or something. And no judgment, but I have a hunch that you'd be able to find a professional offering a comparable or better experience at a fraction of the cost. I'm just saying. I mean, you're really just paying for the name at that point.
You're listening to the Steve Reeve Podcast from 100.5 Cruise FM.
The Hall & Oates Emergency Hotline. Yeah, been seeing memes for this for a while and just always got a chuckle. Never took the time, never had the curiosity to actually call the number up. And I did so, and it's real. And not only is it real, they call it CALLIN Oates. Do you get it? I think it's hilarious. And yes, a very real thing. The proof, right here.
Welcome to CALLIN Oates, your emergency Hall & Oates helpline. To hear one-on-one, please press 1. To hear rich girl, please press 2. To hear man-eater, please press 3. To hear privatize, please press 4.
And it's that potato on hold quality as well, although better selection than most of the music you have to hear when you are stuck on hold for hours. Can you get more than 3 songs? Not the Hall & Oates hotline. You're good with the 4. I mean, this is amazing. I'm talking about the actual I'm stuck on hold for hours at a time, listening to the same song for the 15th time. It's the worst. Music news for you right now. Dee Snider of Twisted Sister fame, as well as many other reasons to know Dee Snider, man who's combated a little bit of oppression in his time, and now responding to people in Ukraine who have adopted "we're not going to take it" as a rallying cry as they literally fight off an invasion from Russia, which began on Thursday. Dee Snider has taken to the internet to say, I absolutely approve of Ukrainians using "we're not going to take it" as their battle cry. My grandfather was Ukrainian, he writes, before it was swallowed up by the USSR after World War II. This can't happen to these people again. And there's a hashtag with a swear in it I can't read. Meanwhile, Green Day is canceling a show in Moscow in protest of Russia's invasion of the Ukraine, minus just Ukraine. They were supposed to be at Spartak Stadium May 27th, but they just released a notice yesterday saying, we are aware that at this moment it's not about stadium rock shows. It's so much bigger than that. But we also know that rock and roll is forever, and we feel confident there will be a time and place for us to return in the future. Refunds available at the point of purchase. Stay safe. Of course, many Russians finding themselves unable to access funds right now due to sanctions and restrictions imposed.
Tuesday.
Mardi Gras today, Pancake Day today, Pancake Tuesday, and we're going to take that and run with it because I'm here to announce Firefighter Fit Steve. Fire Fit Steve. We've got a campaign, really, I guess the better way to put it, a campaign where yours truly is actually going to be a part of the, get this, the Fort McMurray Firefighters Charities Association annual fundraiser calendar. That's right. We've teamed up with the Fort McMurray Firefighters Charities Association, which helps out the Wood Buffalo Food Bank, the Center of Hope, Boys and Girls Club, the Wood Buffalo Humane Society, and Waypoints each and every year. They do great things. And I'm going to be in the calendar. But don't worry. I'm going to be starting a fitness plan that will last the next few months, so you'll still get some muscle to gawk at, right? It's not reason not to buy one of these charity calendars. Please do. Please do. In fact, we're going to make it interactive so that you have some say in what photo actually makes the cut. First, we got to get there, though. First, the fitness plan, then the photo shoot, right? This is something I've never done before. Big thanks to Cut and Conquer Fitness for helping me for the next 90 days. Never done anything like this. And, I will say, in my own defense, I'm not completely inept at healthy eating and exercise. No, not completely. But I've never had the professional support and planning. So this is a new experience. I'm not getting any younger. None of us are. So this isn't about the vanity side of it, the photos and all that. Okay, maybe it is a little. But it's also about facing a challenge, creating some better habits and a knowledge base, feeling stronger, more confident, which I know so many people can relate to wanting to do. I have struggled for years, especially through the pandemic, let's be honest. I went, I'll deal with things when it's over. And now we're getting to that point. The bills come and due, and it's time to do something about it. So I'm going to face this challenge. We love all bodies here, and we love when they are taken care of. Details about Firefighter Fit Steve can be found at the website. We'll be updating you with weekly progress videos, but don't worry, weekly, not daily. We were telling a story last week. I was fascinated by Hank the Tank, this chunky bear who was in California wreaking havoc and breaking into a great many locations. A prolific number of residences were affected by it, and with evidence of like garage doors being knocked in and windows being broken and stuff like that. Not a good situation, of course, and it's around the Lake Tahoe area. There's been some assurances that there is a campaign to help relocate any bears in the area that are being problematic without having to euthanize, which does make me feel a little bit better. Sometimes bears can be very, very habitual, and it can be dangerous, especially like generationally. They teach each other how to get food from people. But here's the thing, the shocker, the part 2 of the whole story. Hank the Tank might actually be 3 different bears. I read this headline and I'm like, what, in a trench coat? Like standing on each other's shoulders? What? Are you kidding me? Yeah, apparently with DNA evidence, they've just found that, there's been fur left behind at some of these different heisting locations where food has been lifted, where they have identified not just one single specimen. There are multiple bears that are in on this. Seems to be a criminal spree. I don't know if Yogi's at the head of things, looking for those picnic baskets and always trying to stick it to the ranger. But I kind of been tickled by this. It sucks. People have been literally home invaded by bears, sometimes while they're still home. Scary situation. Don't want that for people. But the fact that Hank the Tank has 3 different bears and is still out there wreaking havoc, something about that makes me smile. Cancellations aplenty now for shows that were going to be taking place in Russia. Franz Ferdinand, the latest in the news to cancel an upcoming show. And this, of course, following the invasion of Russia, which began last week. The band from Scotland have joined several others, Green Day included, who have said, you know what, no more. Although with a message that includes the line, "We know you see the madness in your country's leadership," addressing people in Russia. "We know you do not want war. The reason isn't to punish the people in Russia who are just as against the invasion as so many others across the world, and especially, of course, in Ukraine." Eddie Vedder has been discussing his contracting of COVID-19 earlier in the pandemic and saying that it was very serious. He says he literally saw his life flash in front of his eyes, being worried about, of course, singing. It's something that affects the inside of your body, your lungs, and can be absolutely something terrifying to those who make a living off of using their voice and using their words. And he does say, of course, he has recovered quite well. Meanwhile, nothing to do with COVID. Neil Diamond simply just selling his songwriting and recording catalog to the Universal Music Group. Looks like over 100 songs, 100 different tracks, an unreleased album, archival video footage, and anything else that is included in the package going to be moving over to UMG in a huge catalog deal. However, no financial information has been disclosed. We do not know how much they spent on it.
Wednesday.
Animals that save their owners, right? There's another dog saves owner by alerting to a deadly disease story out there on the internet. And, take it with a grain of salt, of course. But a woman claiming that her tiny terrier just one day started barking, crying, fussing over her chest specifically. And, jumping too. Dogs do that thing. Give me attention, jump. And when one jump in particular caught a sore spot, she realized that it was a lump and was soon being treated for breast cancer. Long story pretty much short right there. Beautiful story, and something I will never know. Never know. I, like most people, I think, have pets that would 1,000% just start to eat me if I died. And I think that's really the end of the story. I'm providing the food and shelter and the occasional affection at this point. But for the most part, yeah. They'd be sad. They'd wonder what was going on. And then before long, there's snack time. I need help reacting to something, all right? I need help. Introducing the Carbonana. Okay, so there's a company, you might have heard of them, My Shreddies. What they do is they offer underwear that filters farts. Simple as that. You can't really explain it any differently. They filter farts for you. And, full-on underwear. The Carbonana is a little bit different, though, because this is not underwear. It's adjacent to it. The idea is that it is a banana-shaped, and I do mean straight up looks like a banana, that uses carbon filtering technology and that you use to slip between your butt cheeks within your underwear, thereby retrofitting any underwear into being fart filtering. And they specifically do talk about how it's good for travel. Airline flatulence is something you would like to avoid, being that tightly packed in a pressurized cabin. You know what I mean? And they do say it's not something that the x-rays are going to be able to see through, so don't wear it as you're going through security. Might cause you some hassle. No, just reach in and jam the banana between your butt cheeks right after you get out of security. That's how to do it, right? I don't know about this, but you know what? Fair enough. Apparently it works. We did already get a message from a cruise listener, Jennifer, saying, bought one for a boyfriend and it worked like a charm. I'm so curious. I'm mainly curious. Does it look like he pooped his pants while he's wearing it? Because I have to imagine that's kind of the image that you would get.
Hey, Alexa, play the Steve Reeve podcast.
Do you remember 22 years ago, the music video for Californication from Red Hot Chili Peppers? It featured in some moments what looked like a video game of the time, with members of the band going through different California environments. There is a man named OATES who took it on himself to completely indie and no budget create this video game from the music video. In fact, it has 7 different levels, 7 different locations, 7 different game mechanics, and you can pick from any member of the band as you chase through these environments trying to find Red Hot Chili Peppers Californication logos. I am loving this, and I'm definitely going to be playing some a little bit later on today. Free to do, by the way. Just look it up. Easy to find, I would imagine. Now you've got some sad information coming out of the music world. A lot of artists, of course, as usual, when something happens in the world that causes emotions to be felt, they are right there to help us, go through it, to express and to understand how they're feeling, which is a reflection of how everyone's feeling in a way. David Gilmour of Pink Floyd fame now telling Russian soldiers, urging them to stop killing their brothers, saying there will be no winners in this war. Putin must go is his message, joining several others with similar sentiments. And On the more fun side, Kirk Hammett of Metallica going to be publishing his brand new comic book with AMC Networks later on this year, his very first published comic book called Knights of Lono, a mystery supernatural adventure that's going to be set in Hawaii in the year 1989. I'm curious. Nostalgia might just be a painkiller. Now, this is not the first time this association has been made or studied, but there seems to be more data for it. A new study has been researching specifically heat pain on the forearm mixed with images seen by the participants, those who were in the control group seeing just modern images from today, stuff that doesn't evoke any sensations of old or of childhood. And then they had people who were looking at nostalgic images, and they found that there was not only a correlation, but that there was an increased correlation. So as the images got more nostalgic, and I'm not exactly sure how they can quantify that. It seems like an individual experience kind of thing. But the more nostalgic the image, as identified by the participant, the less pain that they felt. All right, and that's physical pain, of course. The stimulus was, like I said, heat pain on the forearm specifically. But I'm extrapolating that to mean, obviously, that nostalgia of any kind is a great pain reliever, not just for physical pain, but also for emotional pain. And I'm like, it's like opening up a door of understanding and realization. I'm like, is that the reason why I can binge the first 10 seasons of The Simpsons just about at any point of time on any given day on the calendar? I think so. It's called self-soothing.
Thursday.
Corey Taylor of Slipknot sending a message out to fans in the area about their postponed Russian, Ukrainian, and Belarus shows. He says, "We take this step in support of our community and in solidarity with the people of Ukraine for whom the struggle continues in a new and more terrible form." And just a long list of moments that Slipknot has actually come out swinging in defense of other people, despite the brutality that they portray. And more information on the Weird Al Yankovic biopic starring Daniel Radcliffe as the titular character. Evan Rachel Wood apparently tapped to play Madonna in a screenshot that has been shared that is just way too close to reality. It's a flashback through time. Absolutely accurate 1984 Like a Virgin era Madonna, because you have to define which Madonna you're talking about when you're talking about Madonna. I don't know if you've heard, but there's a story that's getting some attention on the internet. A company, an adult entertainment company, specifically Strip Chat, they have announced that they are going to be developing and making available for their employees pods. Literal pods, like kind of darkened glass pods with 4K TVs in there, with virtual reality goggles, and all set up to allow the staff to have 30 minutes per shift of time to themselves at work. All right, you get the idea here. Masturbation time, to use the clinical term, which is just the perfect setup for another punch lineup. It's been a minute. Let's do it. There's the bell. So the setup. An adult entertainment company is setting up virtual reality masturbation pods for its employees. It would eliminate smoke breaks if it didn't make people want them. An adult entertainment company is setting up virtual reality masturbation pods for its employees, sleazy, greasy, and available for leasy. For real, they actually are. They will be anyway. An adult entertainment company is setting up virtual reality masturbation pods for its employees. Hopefully the custodial staff will also get a raise. An adult entertainment company is setting up virtual reality masturbation pods for its employees. What's really awkward is they put them right next to the Employee of the Month wall. So many smiles. And finally, an adult entertainment company is setting up virtual reality masturbation pods for its employees. It's a jerk at work while you lurk with a smirk. Okay, all right, enough of this one. I'm already done with the punch lineup today.
Friday.
Apparently, 31% of people polled in a weird and bizarre poll, as they usually are, would give up dinner for a second breakfast. Yeah, that's, of course, conjuring all kinds of Lord of the Rings jokes and memories of watching. But 31% of people wanting to give up dinner for a second breakfast. And I just don't get that. And it's not because of the choice of wanting to have two breakfasts. I totally get that. Fully support it. Completely behind it. I just, and tell me if I'm wrong on this one. Why not just have breakfast for dinner as well? You know? Second breakfast, you can have that. If you're an adult, your parents, if you're not one, might have something to say about that, just like they might say ice cream for breakfast, not a great idea. But as an adult, you can do what you want, whether it's a bad idea or not. And while we're at it, dinner and supper, they're actually the same meal. The exact same one. Porsches and Lambos and Bentleys. Oh my, I learned about a cargo ship called the Felicity Ace that sank this week. It's cargo. Yep, luxury cars, and an insane number of them, to the tune of about $440 million. Oh my goodness. A fire began on February 16th. Yeah, you heard that right. 16th of February. It sailed and burned for nearly 2 straight weeks before being reported sunk. They did put out the fire. Eventually, they, of course, evacuated the crew as well, fully, but it was being towed back to land and eventually sunk 400 miles off of the coast just at the start of March. That's right. About 4,000 luxury cars sank to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean after a cargo ship set fire. But you know, it's your fault the climate is changing and the world is hurting because you defrosted the windshield before driving. You know, sometimes it's a little hard to take. But in all seriousness, for now, we only get one planet. So, do take those little steps not to use it all up. And hopefully the big boys do too.
Thanks for listening to the Steve Reeve Podcast from 100.5 Cruise FM.
New single from the Red Hot Chili Peppers called Poster Child just came out. Album was also announced when they dropped their first single, Black Summer, just last month. It's going to be coming out April 1st with the return of John Frusciante to the band in 2019. Here's just a taste of how that song starts. Yeah, it's groovin'. It's groovin' for sure. Meanwhile, Jack White teaming up with rapper Q-Tip on a track that some are describing as sinister. It's called Hi D Ho, and absolutely worth checking out. Again, here's the very beginning, just so you get just a taste. Yeah, I'm getting those sinister vibes for sure. But again, that's really just the tip of the iceberg. And the Pixies are dropping their first new song in 2 whole years. It's called Human Crime, and there's a brand new music video accompanying it that's going to be coming out right away as well, if not already dropped today. Oh, remember when that's what the gas prices looked like? 100.5. Yeah, long time ago it feels like, but they are skyrocketing. Let me know if you see any gas prices at higher than $2 a liter this morning, because as I've just found out, and I don't know why I'm surprised by it, it's never happened in Canada before, but it looks like today's the day in at least a few places. Not really something to celebrate, but on one side it's kind of fascinating. It's like semi-historic, as if you haven't had enough of witnessing history lately. But on the other side of things, I'm gonna puke. That's just too much money, man.
Transmission over. Want more Steve? New podcast episodes happen every Friday, or just tune into the Steve Reeve Show. Weekday mornings starting at 5:30 a.m. on 100.5 Cruise FM.